we were talking about before we started rolling, but you're telling me a little bit about fatherhood
Mhm.
and how you kind of fallen in love with it, even though you
Yeah.
have so much on your plate already. Talk a little bit about that
Yeah.
as well. I thought that was like a really cool
Yeah.
perspective from you.
Yeah, man. One of the things that drives me nuts happened when we got married, happened before we had a kid, but people are so like pessimistic, right?
Yeah, I
Where
don't like
what
that.
we kept hearing about marriage was like, oh, the first year's the worst. Everyone just kept saying that. And we were like, thank you for the encouragement. Like I'm now so excited for marriage. What do you say? How about you
Yeah.
come with solutions
Right.
instead of the problem of,
Hmm.
yeah, the first year can be hard, but here's some things that make it better and make it a little
Hmm.
easier. Here's what you can expect. And it's the same thing with having a kid where everyone's like, oh, it's so hard. It sucks. You don't ever sleep. You don't ever. And that was frustrating to me,
Hmm.
always hearing that. So I try and take a more optimistic approach when I talk to friends, especially who don't have kids, because what no one told me, and probably the coolest thing that happened is I think as humans, we've gotten so far away from our natural instincts of being humans, of being able to survive and all these things. Like we have heat, we have AC, we have things to keep us comfortable. And I think we've gotten so far away from human instincts that this was probably the first time in my life I really just felt these deep instincts kick in of I can go off of 3 hours of sleep, no problem now. Before I was getting 6 to 8. And if I got less, I was like, I was struggling the next day, right? But with my son, I could go off 3 hours of sleep and I would be just fine the next day. And I
Hmm.
just attribute it to like you have these instincts as humans
Yeah.
that we've denied for so long. But the thing I tell people is like you really can't comprehend the love that you have for your own child. Like when you see yourself in this kid, I mean, you you love them so much that I will go however many nights without sleep that I have to make sure that you're taken care of, to make sure that you're loved.
Hmm.
And from my perspective as a husband and a father, it's not just for my kid, it's for my wife because what women go through with, I mean, what's his name? The comedian, Jim Gaffigan talks about it, right? He's like, it's amazing what women do. Like they grow this human inside of them for 9 months. And then they use their body to give birth to this child. And then they use their body to keep it alive by feeding it. And and I'm sitting over here like,
Yeah.
uh, you know,
Scratching your
I
head.
did very little
Like,
to get us here. So,
hmm.
but it's, you know, when you like, for me, it was, I got to make sure she's okay. She has water. She has comfortable pillows. She's comfortable. Like she's keeping our kid alive, right? And then taking him and taking care of him too. And it's the least I can do. And I think one of the biggest things I've learned through this is just, it's sad to me seeing marriages end and seeing people fall away from each other. And through all of this, like my wife and I have grown so much closer to each other because we've had to be so intentional with serving each other, right? And I think it's a capacity thing where as we go throughout life, like our where we allow it, our capacity increases. And I think capacity to love people is built through serving people. So the more we serve people, the more capacity we develop inside of ourselves to love that person.
Mm.
And so being able to be humble and serve the people in your family and the people that you love just increases your love for those people. And that's what we've experienced in these months. So yeah, we went a couple months without a lot of sleep, but here we
Mhm.
are. My wife and I are closer. We have a son who we love so much, who's the coolest little dude in the world. And, I wouldn't trade it for anything. It's just been such an incredible experience across the board.
That's awesome.
Mhm.
Well put, sir, for
Thank you.
sure. And I'm assuming, you said you're self-employed. Is your wife self-employed as
She's
well?
not. So
Okay.
she's a paralegal at the DA's office.
Oh,
Oh,
wow.
nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So she's really doing great in her career.
Right.
While I'm out here trying to like start all these things, she's keeping a steady a steady income coming in,
Right.
Mhm.
which has been great. So but yeah, she's crushing it, and she's a volleyball coach. So she coaches club volleyball, and she's the head volleyball coach at Rampart High School. So she's a stud, man. She's awesome.
That's awesome. So
Yeah.
how do you, take care of the little one with, wife being at work? Are you staying at home and you're working from
So we've
home?
got family in town.
Yeah.
Both our parents are in town. So we're super blessed to, we don't have to do daycare or anything. So we drop him off with family and they get to hang out with and take care of him. And then I stay home 1 day a week and get to hang out with him. So I just do a bunch of office work and he's there hanging out.
Mhm.
So that's how, and then she works from home on Fridays. So she gets him on Fridays. So yeah.